Hello, and happy Sunday, everyone. So, today we have a special guest, and we have another special guest. So, we are excited. And not only that, we have a new page, the Insaka Talk Show. We have other issues on the other page, but we decided to just move on. Have another page. But for now, that's for another day. But right now we are live. It's Sunday, and I have my co-host, my beautiful Irene. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. I don't have your voice. I still have mine. So which shows the independence was not as loud as yours.
Oh,
But it was beautiful. It was very, very beautiful. Thank you, Chicago, for turning up and celebrating the independence. It's very important for us to kumbaya on a day like yesterday. So I really, 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 from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you.
yes, and then Priska, how was you and how was your independence?
It was great, thank you. We had
Mhm.
Moinga joined us, um, champion the SDMV Independence Party. So it was amazing. It was a great turnout. Usually we have it in DC somewhere, but this time we brought it in our hometown, like Ballsville. And so I didn't have to drive like an hour. We drove like for 15 minutes.
That
And
was
my
Nice.
nice.
yes, how was your independence? And
Hi,
especially
Mainga, and how was your independence? And welcome to
Hi. Well, there are certain things we take for granted. Believe me, you're in Zambia because where Independence Day is like a holiday. That's all you want to get drunk. You don't, And then now, being away from home and then coming and seeing how important it is. I don't think we even kumbayad. I think we held hands and walked to the sunset. One time. It was very euphoric, for lack of a better reference or word. It was
Oh.
very, yes, it was something better than I expected.
Oh, nice.
everybody was like, take my measurements. Take
Oh,
Oh my
really?
gosh.
I feel like that was the fun because then I got to really, really, really network and meet people that would be my would-be customers.
I see. I see.
That's nice. My independence was nice. It wasn't the basement. You know what happens when you're in the basement? No, I'm not. I'm saying that because I'm silly. It was beautiful. The turnout was really good. And I'm so happy for people who believe in our this executive. It's a lot of changes, and sometimes change it hurts and people don't get along with the changes.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see what's happening in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and I hope to see it more. And you know what? People will get along with it as long as we're doing the right thing. And I'm proud of my executive team. We came in through and we rocked the whole. Yay. So now, what's the hot topic? What's going on?
Actually, if you've noticed, Nelly's not with us today. She's in Zambia, so mine as a co-host standing in for Nelly. Nelly's
Yes.
in Zambia doing PR work. She's been doing amazing. We miss her. I think she's gonna join us later.
Yes. Irene, what's going on? What's the hot topic?
I'm still, you know what? First disclaimer, I got drunk yesterday. Not stupid drunk, but it was, yeah, I just have to put it out there. I have to put it out there. I made this killer punch and I kept on telling people, try that orange juice. Try that orange juice. And when they found out it was the punch, they're like, make some more, make some more. But it was really nice. Other than that, it has been a beautiful weather. I don't know if you have good weather there too. It was beautiful outside, like in the 70s. So it was,
Like it was a very beautiful day yesterday.
yes, it was beautiful for the independence because some people
Usually
like us,
cold, yeah.
yeah, like Chicago is very cold. To have 70s on independence, that was like a killer. But yeah, we have some hot topics going on in the world. So we're gonna give our guest host the privilege to give us the hot topics. What's going on? The
Well,
trending topic. The trending
well,
topics.
hot topic number one is we all know who Your Maps is, right? We all
Yes.
know who he is. We all vibe to his music, and we
Yes,
all know
yes.
what has been going on with him being denied his awards and all of that. That's a story for another day. That's a
Yes.
hot topic for another hot topic.
Yes.
But what's exciting is amidst all of that, the brothers doing a tour in Europe.
Oh,
Hey.
amazing.
I feel that's something that it's not something you wake up hearing every day. That
Yeah.
Zambian artist is touring Europe, or Zambian artist is even in tour at all. So for me, that is major.
That's an award.
Yes, that's bigger than every other award he may have missed.
Absolutely.
And the
Absolutely.
other hot topic is I'm in America now, baby. That's
Yes.
You're a hot topic.
that's a hot topic.
You were in that topic. You were trending. By the way, you put me on the list of those people that are going to be your clients. I'm
Yes.
going to be on top of it.
There's,
If Priska is on that list, she's number 10 somewhere. I'm number 1 up there. And it's okay. She won't be upset. Don't worry about
He's
it.
not saying anything. In a manga, it's natural. We make clothes. So me and him, we gotta work together, and he's gonna have to measure me first before your people. So let me
I
just.
see. Really?
Oh yeah, I'm about to show you my skills. So
Wow.
right now, we don't want to waste a lot of time. We're gonna go commercial, and we'll bring our special guest because we can't keep him waiting. And you guys, I know you've been waiting to see who is this person just after the commercial.
My whole life, my father told me stories about moving to the United States. He would tell me that his brother, my Uncle George, was already living here and let my father stay with him for a while. Through my Uncle George, my father was introduced to our cultural organization here in America, who helped him make connections, apply for college, find his first job, and adjust to life in a completely different culture than he was used to. The Cultural Association helped him get started on his new life. My Uncle George would bring my father with him to the annual Summer Cultural Groups Festival, and later, he would bring me. It was incredible to see so many people of all ages laughing and celebrating with food and song and dance. It brought back the best feelings of home and gave my father the opportunity to pass his culture, language, and values on to me. My father and Uncle George were very close, so when George died last year, my father wanted to honor his wishes to be buried with a traditional ceremony back at his birthplace. My father told me that because Uncle George had cultural group life insurance, he was able to afford to bring George home and have the traditional burial George wanted. Though my father had been able to honor my Uncle George's wishes, it got me thinking about my own family. One day, I'd have to make the same arrangements for my own parents, and my wife's parents as well. Of course, we would want to bring them home and honor their wishes, but it would be a financial hardship for our family. There were a lot of things to think about, even though I really didn't want to think about them at all. When my father told me about cultural group life insurance, he told me it's intended to help families when they need it the most. It's not tied to an employer, so no matter where my career takes me, I'll always have coverage. The more people who participate and the younger they are, the more it helps keep the insurance premiums down for the entire association. Because my parents have cultural group term life insurance, there will be money available to help me provide the kind of service I want to give my parents. And by joining, I can put my mind at ease and continue to celebrate our traditions into the future. With cultural group life insurance, I can worry less and spend more of my time celebrating with the people who matter most to me.
Hello, ladies and one gent, and then I'm gonna welcome you guys to our special guest today. Its name is Chela Katwishi. Hi, Mr. Chela Katwishi. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Allowing me to. It's a privilege.
Do you mind if you can just speak a little bit, maybe speak up a little bit, maybe it's your volume or something?
Oh, now we can hear you.
You can hear me now. Can
Yeah,
you?
don't just go back and forth. Yeah, when you go like that, it's going away. Yeah.
I said thank you very much for inviting me to participate on your
We
program.
are so glad and delighted.
Actually, you know what, Winnie?
Yes.
You forgot a few words about Chela. You were supposed to say the handsome, the amazing, the multi-talented,
Oh,
the everybody's friend, the everything beautiful.
Thank you, Irene.
That
Thank you.
introduction did not do
The
justice.
introduction was supposed to
Irene, you know, I was waiting for the dramatics. I'm
be like V and V and V.
Please,
And I am
can I go
honored.
back? Can I go back?
No,
No,
you
we're
cannot.
good. We're good. We're good.
I can retract or 3 things.
No, you cannot.
No.
That's
Okay, I'm
Thank
done.
you.
No, the handsome, the amazing, the more talented, the everybody's friend,
I'm just gonna
the
dance to
friend,
that, to the V.
the friend to the media, and forever my friend.
Yes.
That
Chela
paved the way
Katwishi.
for all of us
For all
to
of
be
us
here.
to be here.
Exactly.
I mean, we grew up watching him on TV.
And listening.
Yeah, like it was so amazing, and just being able to see you is you've really paved the way for the industries in ways that you would never understand, especially for Zambia itself.
Yeah.
I'm from Zambia yesterday, not twice. So it's very amazing to see you and for you to know that your work, your efforts were not in vain. You left behind an aura of people that wanted to do what you were doing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we are that people.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm to be honest, I'm humbled. I'm really humbled. I appreciate it.
So, Chela, I know that a lot of people are watching. You've probably told your friends, and we've told our friends, our viewers, our supporters. And I just want to do a disclaimer there. We have a new page, the Insaka Talk Show. Please, don't worry about the other one. We're having technical trouble, but follow us on the Insaka Talk Show. And if you haven't gone live right now, go to YouTube and watch Mr. Chela Katwishi, who's going to grace you with beautiful stories about his life. But before we do that, I wanted to just talk a little bit about your bio that is like a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful of beautiful things, a mouthful of accolades, like Sanderson said. And you probably will be the best person to tell us more about yourself. But I'll just go through your bio and pick up a few things that I've seen. Your teaching career, we'll probably have to tackle that one. The part where you were with President Harry Kalaba, you remember? And then your broadcasting career. So those 3, I think, are the first things that we want to tackle. First, we want to find out who Chela is, like your humble beginning, and how you started teaching. And then from there, we can now go to broadcasting. So tell us about Chela, your childhood until you became a teacher. I think you started teaching at the age of 17, which is amazing. I didn't even know what I was doing when I was 17. So
I wasn't even done with high school. How did you?
Exactly. Tell us.
But Chela was in there Friday in Jakarta.
Hey,
Me, I'm
he
coming.
was there doing the thing. By 17 years, the man was established. He was the teacher, teaching other people.
Exactly.
I think the first thing I would like to request, if you don't mind, because I'm soft spoken, and if you don't mind just killing the music just a little bit.
No.
Just get it all the way together.
I can just take it
Yeah.
out.
Let's do it.
Because getting to your question, who is Chela? I was born in a family of 6 from Salome and Peter Katwishi, and my mom was a teacher, a trained teacher for special education, and then my dad worked for Contract College and Star Motors at the time in HR department and administration. I'm the firstborn of 6. Like I said, the first 3 of us are boys and the last 3 are girls. The girls are in Australia. One of them is back home in Zambia, general managing some organization. But the eldest of the girls and the last born, the Kasuli, is the 2 of them are in Australia. and I'm here. And the boys, one is a farmer. He supplies ShopRite stores, and the other one is an electrical engineer. He runs his own firm. When I was born, we used to make trips to Harare, Zimbabwe for holidays. And it was then that my love for music started, because every time we would be moving in the vehicle, my dad would be playing Oliver Mtukudzi's music in the car. We used to stay at a place called Monomotapa Hotel.
Mm.
And when I was about 8 years old or 9 years old, thereabout, I joined the Rising Stars. Now, the Rising Stars is a youthful band which was created by Father Korea of Kawata Parish. It was to keep youngsters away from trouble. And I used to play accordion. And we made a lot of trips. We went to Japan, we went to China, we went to Sweden, at a very tender age of about 9 years old, thereabout. And later on, while my colleagues were going into banking, my mom advised me to go into teaching. And I asked my mom, why do you want me to do teaching? In those days, in the olden days, your parents would usually guide you and choose a career for you.
Right.
She told me that teaching is better because you'll be a jack of all trades and a master of none,
Wow.
if not a master of all trades. At that particular time, I did not understand what she meant, but I went for it anyway. And all my friends in school were laughing at me the time I was headed in that direction. Prior to that, I went to Lusaka Boys Primary School, then went to Nali Secondary School. And remember, I said my mom was a teacher. So as a teacher, they kept on transferring her from one province to the other. So I ended up at Mungwi Secondary School, Mungwi Technical Secondary School in Kasama. And that's where I finished my Form 5 then, which is now called Grade 12. And it was at that particular time that President Kaunda was cutting off or finishing the Zambia National Service training. So we didn't go to Zambia National Service for training, put it that way. So we were lucky. So immediately I finished, I went straight to Chipata Teachers Training College, and that's where I trained as a primary school teacher in English and physical education. And when I finished, I went back and taught right back at the primary school where I taught, which is Lusaka Boys Primary School. It was in that class where I found President Hari Kalaba, who is now President Hari Kalaba, or former Foreign Affairs Minister. Hari Kalaba is no longer president of the DP, I'm told, but I'll address him as former Minister of Foreign Affairs. And it was in that class that I found the late Humphrey Mulemba's son, the late Gibson Chigaga's son, who was the finance minister then. It was in that class that I found Tabo Kawana, who is now media director for the government. It was in that class that I found Kalumba Chikonde, who we call Case Mash.
Wow.
In that class, it was like a class of accolades, the stars of the stars. And they were able to relate with me because I was very young then. I was only 16. I know Irene said 17, but I was 16 then.
Your bio says 17.
Yeah.
Look at me, like we were reading it.
16 in training and 17 into practicing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So after teaching at Lusaka Boys Primary School, then I trained for secondary school. And then at that particular time, I took the Wildlife Conservation Club.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
And Chongololo Club then.
Chongololo Club.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember the Chongololo.
You remember it?
Yes, I'm the Chongololo kid. Yes.
Oh my God. That's
So
amazing.
I took them to the broadcasting
It
service.
was
And while I was being interviewed, they let Lazarus Kanyungu,
Yeah.
um, Frank Mutvila, Peter Mwemba,
Mm-hmm.
and Man Sichalwe. They let Man Sichalwe. They said, wow, that voice, whose voice is that? And then everybody said, we don't know, it's just a program. Make sure that gentleman doesn't go when the program finishes. Is it live or recorded? They said it's live program. So when we finished the live program, they called me in and they asked me if I'd be interested in joining broadcasting. And I said, yeah, I need to think about it. I need to sleep over it because I love my students and I can't just dump them just like that. And it was at that time they said, well, listen, whether you agree or not, we're offering you this job. And that's how they offered me the job. I went back to my students. They cried. They were so unhappy that I was leaving the following year. In 1988, I think it's on the 7th of December, if I'm not mistaken, thereabout, but it was in December 1988, I joined the then Zambia Broadcasting Services. It was transitioning from Zambia Broadcasting Services to Zambian National Broadcasting Corporation. And at that time, they were opening Radio Mulungushi, which is now called Radio 4 today. And they put me first of all, they put me in the general service before Radio Mulungushi opened. General service was like an English-speaking channel. And then there was Radio 1, which was home service. And then there was Radio 3, which was for the apartheid and SWAPO and all these freedom fighters companies countries that were, advocating for independence at the time. But I was in the English channel. And when Radio Mulungushi started, so we were the pioneers of Radio Mulungushi. I did not know a single bit about DJ.
Wow.
Really?
Francis Ndovi, who we call the Bitmaster, started tutoring me. Bear in mind, at the time, they were pairing us 2 people per person, 2 people per household. And Francis and I ended up in one house. So he started teaching me how to DJ because he used to DJ at Big Bite in Kabwe. And he was a club DJ then. So he started teaching me how to DJ. And I started teaching him how to be master of ceremonies. So we were like collaborating and teaching each other that way, put it that way. And after that, I stayed at ZNBC for quite some time and then went back to school because Ambassador Frank Monteville advised me and the rest of my colleagues to go back to school. So I went back to school, which was Mindolo Ecumenical Foundation.
Hold the thought there, Mr. Chela.
Oh,
I just want to take you back a little bit. When you said you started working at the age of 16, 17, how come you stayed level-headed up to now with the finances and then you were doing all this stuff? Because at the end of the day, you were able to be a teacher.
I was thinking, I'm like, how is he managing?
How were you able to be level-headed? Because at 17, one person dalama.
Hey, what I'm going to
Oh, Jesus. How did you stay level? And then not only that, you were a superstar at that age. What was the life with the women? So I'm saying in the same thing, I said level-headed. How did you stay level-headed? Or were you into trouble? Because I know I want to hear more about it, but I'm going to take you back so we can go together.
Okay. Let me start with the financial discipline. With the financial discipline, I told you that my mom was a teacher.
Okay.
Okay.
And you know what that means. When you have a parent who is a teacher, she's a disciplinarian.
Mm-hmm.
So she was taking care of my finances and guiding me in that direction, put it that way. And when it comes to carrying myself, it was a bit difficult because if I must admit, I was more on the shy end. I never used to drink a beer.
Mm.
I was more on the shy end. So the
Tuwe niche bwino fie ndefa conviction.
No, I'm for nice kano.
Na umanendela olela.
Yeah, yeah.
With due respect to
Yeah.
all the beautiful ladies I dated out there,
Yes.
the answer is that the ladies were the ones that were making the passes on me.
Excuse me, Mr. Chela.
Wait.
He just did it.
I said
He was a famous man. He's a famous man.
I said with due respect. But what
Yes,
I was
he
not
did.
sure about was whether they wanted DJ CJ
Mm-hmm. Or they
or
wanted
they
to like
wanted
a twist.
Chela Katwishi.
That's right.
Oh.
There's a two things.
Ah, that's true.
There's
That's
a big
very
difference
tough.
there.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Because he lives a double life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when I was at home, I'm Chela Katwishi.
Mind you,
And when I'm at the studio, I'm DJ CJ.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wasn't sure was whether they were following the voice,
The DJ.
following the
Because you're a very handsome man, young man. You're a
Yeah.
very handsome man.
Thank you very much. So
I'm not telling Chela that.
it
No,
wasn't
so he can have his
I don't
because
know
more
if
men
you
have.
can
When you tell them you're very handsome,
we're
they
using
just,
one voice.
yeah.
The moment for his looks. Check. Irene, do you
Yes, I know.
our mind is jealous now.
Of course. I thought I was there. I'm in pink. And
I just told Micah something beautiful earlier before you
No,
came
you didn't
on.
say it on
I
Instagram.
did
You
hear
didn't say
it.
on the
Oh, you
Instagram.
didn't hear it. Let me say it so you can
So
continue.
that was-
I said, Micah, you look you make a very pretty man in pink. A pastel pink looks very beautiful on you.
well, at least CJ has heard now. We're on the same page. He
And
did.
now we are live, the whole world can hear it. Micah looks very nice in pastel pink, yo.
Yeah.
Out there.
So I think I hope I've answered your question, Winnie.
Yes.
No, thank you very much. That's what I was waiting for because you taught us the good thing you did, but at the end of the day, people in the media, especially us seeing you being a legend and you are here now, we're trying to get knowledge from you. How do you stay humble? So we want to
Yeah.
learn. And other children out there, they should learn how you grew
Yeah.
up. Money doesn't have to make you who you are. You can be a better person while you have money. Like you say, you live two lives. You were Chela Katwishi at home and you were the DJ. So you live the DJ life and we left it there. And now you are Chela Katwishi. And that's what we want to see these children become. You can be a superstar, make a lot of money, but be humble. And that
Yeah.
part, thank you. You answered my question.
Thank you. So
Before we go anywhere, I'm going to go to commercial and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I know Miss Anderson was waiting. I know it's your turn.
People are
My whole life, my father told me stories about moving to the United States. He would tell me that his brother, my Uncle George, was already living here and let my father stay with him for a while. Through my Uncle George, my father was introduced to our cultural organization here in America, who helped him make connections, apply for college, find his first job, and adjust to life in a completely different culture than he was used to. The Cultural Association helped him get started on his new life. My Uncle George would bring my father with him to the annual Summer Cultural Groups Festival, and later, he would bring me. It was incredible to see so many people of all ages laughing and celebrating with food and song and dance. It brought back the best feelings of home and gave my father the opportunity to pass his culture, language, and values on to me. My father and Uncle George were very close, so when George died last year, my father wanted to honor his wishes to be buried with a traditional ceremony back at his birthplace. My father told me that because Uncle George had cultural group life insurance, he was able to afford to bring George home and have the traditional burial George wanted. Though my father had been able to honor my Uncle George's wishes, it got me thinking about my own family. One day, I'd have to make the same arrangements for my own parents, and my wife's parents as well. Of course, we would want to bring them home and honor their wishes, but it would be a financial hardship for our family. There were a lot of things to think about, even though I really didn't want to think about them at all. When my father told me about cultural group life insurance, he told me it's intended to help families when they need it the most. It's not tied to an employer, so no matter where my career takes me, I'll always have coverage. The more people who participate and the younger they are, the more it helps keep the insurance premiums down for the entire association. Because my parents have cultural group term life insurance, there will be money available to help me provide the kind of service I want to give my parents. And by joining, I can put my mind at ease and continue to celebrate our traditions into the future. With cultural group life insurance, I can worry less and spend more of my time celebrating with the people who matter most to me.
Welcome back to the Instaka Talk Show. As you all know, we are in the Instaka Talk Show. We're not using the old page, so this is a new page. Thank you very much. Stay tuned with Mr. Chela Katwishi. I'm just going to read up some comments because, as you know, our guest here is popular and well known from our
Correction, Winnie, my darling. He's not
generation.
popular. He's famous. He's an A-lister.
Famous, yes, that's the word.
The legend, the legend.
Michael Jackson, that way.
Okay, let's go to the comments because everybody's eager to see what's going on over there.
Yeah.
While we're going to the comments, Mainga, I'll just let you ask some question while I prepare the comments.
Okay. Well, mine is more of as a starting broadcaster that didn't go to broadcasting school, which is like what we are doing, what the world is becoming now, where you don't go to school, but then you're thrown in a direction because you're in love or you have a passion for it.
Yeah.
And we were coming from, our Zambian background. You know how we were pioneers without knowing that we're pioneers. You are a pioneer. You didn't know then that you were being a pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
How did you keep, again, I'll ask, what kept the fire burning? Because believe me, with having to work, having to figure out life happens to each and every one of us at different angles and at different stops. So how have you kept the fire burning? Because believe me, but probably poor finishing. So how have you kept it going? That's one thing I'd love to know.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very important question. The time that we were in broadcasting, they tutored us and taught us, listen, this is a job.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let it go to your head.
Right.
Do not draw your head bigger than your job. Because you can lose it anytime and they'll replace somebody and train that particular person. We're trained by Sarah Mubanga, we're trained by Margaret Zimba, who is now Margaret Piri, we're trained by Doris Mulenga, we're trained by Doreen Mukanzo, we were trained by Ambassador Frank Mutubila, we were trained by the late Mansi Chalwe, the great Peter Mwemba, Mario Malio, Fred Chunga, Joseph Koloneta. Those were a group of people that we were trained by. I had a friend, apart from Francis Ndovi, his name, I pray when I mention this name, I'm not going to bring tears because he's a relation to Irene. I had a friend, my best friend, his name is Nipa Muezo. He used to call himself the Black Man's Child. Now, what Nipa and I used to do is every time I go on the radio, he would critique me. He'd say, I feel you should have done A, B, C, D. And I'll do the same with him. And the other thing that they taught us is never, ever compete with other broadcasters. Always compete with yourself. Meaning, I go wrong. Go back, have a recording of whatever else you DJ'd on the radio. Listen back, listen to other foreign radio stations, and that will make it better. And the other thing that also dealt us at the time was they kept us in the background for a period of about 6 months before testing the microphone. For 6 months, you just sit in the background.
Yeah, you're building your anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, when you want something, you have this craving for it, and
and when it was close to 6 months, the only thing they would allow you is the time now on ZNBC Radio Mulungushi is 1,600 hours.
What?
Keep listening.
what's it?
That's it?
Nienda one day anauza kutikamba na kamba the time now futi mano the time now ijadesi bwana bwana ukanata
No, you obviously cannot go against what you've been advised to.
Yeah.
And then every word we uttered on the radio was written in black and white.
Oh,
So it was scripted.
okay.
Sikwenze vija vamalight vamalembera manje.
No, it's scripted on the radio. You write whatever. Hi, this is Radio Mulungushi. My name is DJ CJ, taking you on from 1,600 hours to 20 hours. And on our show today, we're going to have a very good time.
Yes, it sounds like it's
On the radio. Keep listening.
I know.
Let's first of all pay accolades and say our grace. A passage from the Bible is ABCD. You mentioned the passage. Right, first song, let's sock it. Rebecca Malope, all the way from South Africa. Listen to Rebecca Malope, pint-sized Rebecca Malope. Here it is.
Do they?
Wow, Chela.
This was nostalgic because it reminded me
I
of
know.
yes, like back.
Okay, Priska, I'm going my thing, and then we go back to that because that is
Answer
just
the question of Mainga. How did I keep the fire burning? It's about self-check. I mean, look, I'm not a saint, Mainga. I've made so many mistakes in my life.
right.
But what has kept me going is learning from my mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what has kept me going. To say, okay, here I've done this wrong. So next time I'll do it better than this. For instance, this is my second marriage now. So whatever else I learned in my first marriage, I make sure I don't make the mistakes that I made in this marriage.
Yeah.
And I don't compare
That to that.
ex-wife to my current wife,
Yeah.
because they're two different individuals.
Individuals.
Same with the career. I don't compare where I was then to where I am now. I don't compare. If I play in Kabwe at ZAF Officers Mess, I don't compare the way I'm going to play at Cinderella nightclub in Kitwe or Seko's nightclub in Indola.
Mm-hmm.
Those are different scenarios, put it
Yeah,
down.
true.
We were able, it was difficult. Don't get me wrong. Listen, Mainga, we money was, we had everything. But they taught us never, ever, ever, ever to show off because the money can dwindle anytime. This
Yeah.
career you have, one day God can wake up.
Yeah. True.
I hope I've answered your question, Mainga.
Yes, you have, and more. Thank you.
Priska, you can go ahead.
Mwenyemonde says, DJ CJ, I see you.
I also see you, Mwenya. Kasi, thank you very much, Kabita. I've seen that comment. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Tawera says, nice to see you here on Insaka Talk Show, DJ CJ Chela. It's a small world. And I believe you know Tawera.
Yes, I do. That's
Twala ipishina pa ito well.
okay. How do I know her? She's my late friend, Lazarus Daka, was married to Tawela and they've got children together. Unfortunately, he passed on.
Oh,
He died.
Okay.
that's why mwalishi vana. Na mkwasi mwalikwata kwa vana.
I know.
Well, Tawera, it told me to tell you hello.
Well, children I love. I love children a lot. We'll talk about the children when you ask the question.
Yes.
Chama Tanasha Blessing says interesting.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Interesting. And this one from our own.
Nelly, you didn't get a chance to speak with Nelly Chela. Nelly is our co-host on the show, which
Yeah.
Mind is filling in today. So Nelly, thank you. She's in Lusaka, Zambia. She's doing a lot of PR, a lot of work.
Right.
She says hello. Miriam Lopez says, keep up the good works. Thank you. That's to Chela. Keep up the good works.
Thank you very much. Very.
Chewa Chilesha, keep up the good work.
Watching.
Nelly's what? I don't know what she's I get
Maybe network, Zambian network. It's okay.
Maria Zuria, Immaculate. Keep up the good work. Nelly, Natasha Kalenga, you guys are doing an amazing job. Thumbs up. Thank you. I guess that's to Chela and you guys as well. So thank you so much.
Well,
Hello, everyone. Hello, Tawera. Natasha M. And StreamYard says,
StreamYard says, keep on watching.
Well, Priska, do you have any beautiful questions for Mr.
you can go ahead,
Prince?
Eric.
I said, do you have any questions for Chela?
No, you can go ahead.
No, I don't. I have a question for later.
Go ahead and ask the later question.
Oh, okay. So, Chela, my question is about it's marrying into Mainga's. How did you keep up the flame, right? You were a very famous guy. I grew up with you. You literally had girls all over you. How did you determine who's genuine for Chela Katwishi and who's interested in DJ CJ? Because those are two different women.
Okay.
There were club women and there were real women. And the real women were so many because I know them.
Okay, before I answer that
Oh,
question, this young man wants to say hi because he's not going to stop. He's in my way.
Come on, it's okay.
Come here. We want to see
My
you.
last one. Okay, say hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi, darling.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Oh, you are the
What is your
luckiest
name?
young man ever. You have a legend as your
How
dad.
old are you?
He's famous.
Yeah, your dad is
Your
famous.
dad is famous.
Very
We-
famous. He's
Oh.
yeah.
That's sweet.
What's his name?
What's your name? They're asking, what's your name?
Tatila Katwishi.
Oh my gosh, that's a nice name. Tatila Katwishi. Nice.
That's very nice.
All right, off you go. Close the door behind you. Thank you.
So cute.
Close the door behind because Daddy is busy right now. Please close the door. Close the door behind you. We'll talk.
My best friend ran.
Yeah.
Ah,
Because he wasn't going to stop. So to answer your question,
I'm gonna put this on first before you do that.
so what do you want me to answer? Do you want me to answer the question or to talk about that?
To talk about that.
Interesting.
Okay. This was when I was a teacher at Lusaka Boys Primary School, and in this photo there is former Foreign Affairs Minister Harry Kalaba. There's also Tabo Kawana on this picture.
Oh my gosh.
And all the other people that you can think of. You can see me right there in the middle. Thing is, with my students, I was like their best friend. To answer your question, you see, every time I had a show, we had ladies taking off their underwears and throwing them at me, and it was very. It sounds funny, but these were things that were happening, and that's the truth.
It's a real life.
Yeah, and it was very difficult to tell who is genuine and who isn't. It was try and error. It was very difficult. I mean, look, I was young and I was enjoying the fame. I was enjoying the center of attention. And on top of that, I'm a Gemini who wears his heart on his sleeve. And it was very difficult. And over the years, because of try and error, you find it was a bit Honestly,
How
it
many
was
kids
very
do you
easy.
have?
Honestly,
How
it
many
was
children?
very difficult.
Manga is asking you a question.
But the one thing I appreciate about my wife today is
Mhm.
she's managed to bring all these kids together,
How many are they? The kids?
Exactly.
able to know when I pass on, when they say, "Can we now have the children to the deceased?" Then you will know.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
What? Is that
I
why you're not
see, I see,
answering?
I see, I see.
You are so
That's a
smart.
smart one. That's a smart one. That's a smart one.
Yeah. I was like, you heard Manga ask you a question. You're
Yeah,
not
So
answering.
I just know
you
that
strategically ignored it, and then it comes
Yeah,
at the end
you
and it concludes and
no,
says,
but just know that I love them all, and I love them all. They are my source of joy.
The
Amen.
ones that you know and the ones that you don't know.
I think he
All
knows them all. I think he's that dad. He's an invested dad. I think he knows
Well,
them.
we
All right.
had to look for them. I mean, look, there were times when they would say, "This is your child," and you look and say,
Papa, na mama mbepe Shafia,
But from the time I've known you, you've never denied a child.
"No."
You've never questioned, and this I'm just saying because I've been his friend for a long time. Anytime a woman brought a child and said, "This is your child," even as his friend would be like, "Chela, this one, no." He'll be like, "No, she said he's mine, so he's mine."
And for me, that's how I've managed to probably
Mhm.
get blessings, because children are innocent. That's the way I look at it.
your name goes with your character.
Uh-huh.
Let's get a little bit. I know we're gonna have a part two to this guy. So if we don't, Chela is a whole lot his life story.
Yes, he's a
From
book.
Chela, the person, the career. So there will be a part two to this.
Yeah. Mhm.
But I wanted to get into the career a little bit. You were the youngest appointed secretary to the former late President Frederick Chiluba. Tell us about that. Why you? You were the youngest, but there were people that before you. What did they see in you?
The second president of Zambia, Dr. Frederick Titus Jacob Chiluba, came to our university and he told us that whoever will be the highest at this university, I'll give him a job. At that time, the MMD was advocating for a third term. And what President Chiluba did, he started going in universities to test the waters of the would-be practicing journalists and broadcasters. And when he came, I remember he hosted and had lunch with us, and he told us whoever will be the highest, I'll give him a job at State House. I was not the highest; I was the second highest in in our department, and the highest was a Kenyan national. He had to go back to Kenya, and that's how I got the job. Everybody else was graduating. I never saw my results. I went and saw my results at State House when I found President Chiluba for the second time after that, and he said, "Congratulations, I'm giving you the job." And after that, the former secretary to the cabinet, Outreach Adamson, then made me sign the contract, and that's how I got the job at that tender age. It was good. It was lovely. I enjoyed it. I had everything. I had the power. I had the money. I had not just the firm from Chela Katwishi, but the firm from the office, the number one office in the land. It was lovely. But the thing about working for State House is I'm not going to say much, because look, we're dealing with the state. You always have to look over your shoulder,
Yes.
um,
Mhm.
because you needed to mind what you were doing. You had to address yourself in a presidential manner. You have to carry yourself in a presidential manner. When you're working for the president, when people see you, they see the president. You're representing the
Represent.
president of the Republic of Zambia.
Right.
And I did fail in the sense that, after some time, obviously, because power and fame got to me, and I ended up being fired by the president of Zambia because of whatever he was hearing. And
You were
he knew
fired?
what it was. at the time. There were certain rumors that surrounded my being fired. And one of the strongest rumors that was there, which I can mention here because it was a rumor and it's not true, was that I dated the former
Oh,
First Lady,
yes.
when in fact not.
Hmm.
That wasn't
I
true.
looked at the former First Lady as a mother,
Right.
and I respect her, and I still value the teachings she gave us when we worked for the president at the time. And it was so sad that when it started, it spread like wildfire.
Wildfire.
Oh,
So
wow.
you can imagine where you're going in a pub and everybody says, oh, hold on to your ladies. They're not saying anything. They're just saying, oh, hold on to your ladies, meaning here comes the lady snatcher. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you sit down, you're having your drink,
Literally, that's like social
and,
media. Obviously. Yeah.
and guess what? Look, when the former president fired me, I had three choices. Actually, two choices. Choice number one, no, three. Choice number one, take my life. Choice number two, revenge. Choice number three, dust my pieces up, forgive him, and move on, and hand him over to God.
He apologized. How was that for you to be
Yeah.
vindicated?
Hold on. It was very difficult, but I chose choice number three, which was forgive and
Move
move
on.
on. And I
That's
want to
hard.
leave this
That's
country.
Yeah.
It was very, very hard because remember, when I was fired, I was only 22, 21, thereabout.
So you're very young.
Yeah, I was very young. And imagine where you go and look for a job, they say, oh, no, sorry. We can't.
we heard about you. We know you.
Mnaenda na first lady.
No, sorry.
Jamani, wewe not kabisa boy five.
No, sorry, we can't employ you. You go there. So then you think to yourself,
Yeah.
what the hell is wrong with me?
Next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And frankly, guys, especially those that are looking for a job from the president, it's not easy.
No.
Because when you're fired, you're on your own.
Yeah.
It's not against the world.
It's
It's
true.
not easy. If
And then
somebody
being
asks
Zambian,
you, look,
Yeah. That's a bit.
it's you've got to mature up to work with the president.
Yeah.
Yes, he had very good intentions, but there was no one because when I walked State House, I found all these civil servants with gray hair, some of them, and it was very, very difficult. It was not easy. Where every single day you're being told, after all, you were not even there when we were fighting for the struggle, so we'll make sure.
that's the problem. Yeah. hmm
The
We still have that. We still have that going
For
on.
for
generation.
me, it was hard. It was very hard even to forgive. I just wanted to leave the country. That's all I wanted. And my mom told me, listen, if you leave the country, it will be like you're running away.
Right.
I know you as a person who is not a coward. Stay until this person leaves office. And I stayed until the president left office. When I stayed, I decided to try and go to the United Kingdom to do my master's degree in international journalism at Cardiff University. When I came back, I worked for the Media Institute of Southern Africa called MISA Zambia. And it was at that time that MISA was awarding journalists. And they asked me to be director of ceremonies. And the guest of honor was President Frederick Chile. So we were meeting for the first time after a long time.
Oh, wow.
And I held the microphone. I said, from the world of broadcasting, from the world of teaching to the world of broadcasting, and was appointed as second Republican president, senior private secretary to him, and deputy spokesperson. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. And what was quickly fired by the second president and in State House. And then he looked at me. He was facing this way. I was standing right behind him. He was facing this way. Then he turned and then he looked in the air and he laughed and clapped in the air. And then I finished my introduction. Immediately I finished my introduction, then he sent his ADC who is his bodyguard then, and he called me to the side room. It was at the Palmosi Hotel, and they called me in the side room, and I sat down with the president. And the thing is, when we were working with the president, we were taught you need to kneel when you're speaking to the president, and we had to kneel.
Right. Culture.
So for me, he was still my president, even if he was no longer in office. So
Yeah.
I knelt. I said, Mr. President, sir. And he says, "Va Chela, Malishani." I said, Mr. President, today chinchilam. And then he says, yo, banende lombako, ubwelelo pali, fijatwachitide, twale umfama mwingi pali imwe, ati pakwira kuntanshi twalisa sango kwebate, yama mwingi twale umfwa, tayari ya chishinka iyo.
Wow.
So nde lombako mutwerere komkwai.
Wow.
Kwebate tulenda chapamo, andi tumania kapi, akwebatilesa mukulu.
Great. Oh my gosh.
That's
There's a lot of damage that he did, though.
I would
Yeah.
cry. I would cry.
Yeah.
I did not judge him because it brought tears to me to say,
Yeah.
I asked myself, how much more information was this man given
Oh
about
my
the other people
Me, yes.
Yeah.
who fired? But I held him in high esteem because remember, he was not the first and the last person to have apologized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda did fire Cosmas Chibanda, then
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
minister, for drinking, taking a lot to the bottle. He had an alcohol problem, I think. That's what I was told. And then he was given an ultimatum to stop drinking. And then after that, he apologized and said, no, I was given wrong information that you were taking so much to the bottle. I apologize. For a president to apologize, who
It's a
am
big,
I?
it's huge.
Who am I?
But that was a good relief.
And I say here on Instagram, may the soul of that man rest in peace. Because for me, I harbor no hatred. As a matter of fact, I'm privileged that he gave me an opportunity to serve my country, to be one of the youngest persons who has entered and worked for the #1 office in the land called State House. Some of my colleagues have probably passed on and never ever entered State
Right,
House.
right. Very right.
Yeah,
I was privileged.
Yep.
And today, the fruits are paying off.
Mhm.
Because the job I do today, for working for the #1 policing in the world,
yeah.
has paid off. So my dismissal has tied up with this, coupled up with a road being named after me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Hold on that. Hold on that. Let's just show it as you speaking. Because we're gonna do it on party, but as you speaking, we can bring it out. This is
what else can you ask for?
No, nothing.
yeah.
What else can you ask for? I mean, ladies, after being fired, life was hard.
Can I say
When I
something?
say,
Can
when
I
I say,
chime in?
when I say hard, I mean hard. I moved from a 4-bedroomed house, 2 guns, with the
Bodyguard.
police person guarding me outside, with a Land Rover Discovery,
Pajellos by calling Pajello.
to driving a Beetle, living in a 1-room house with my ex-wife and the 2 children,
Oh my gosh.
and using the toilet going outside.
Oh my
Not
God.
because I was born without a silver spoon, but because my mom told me, I told you not to take up this job. You did
Oh,
not listen to me.
yes. She
You
wanted you to
made
be a
the bed.
teacher.
You made the bed.
Lay on it.
Ooh, that's back to my spinal cord. The moment you said you made a bed, lay on it, that just went
So
directly.
for me,
Thank you. That's
to go through that, every time I'm driving through that road, going to UTH, from Long Acres going to
Yeah.
UTH, my house used to be directly opposite the American Embassy, #2 Ngumbo Road. big, nice house. Every time I pass through there, I say, wow. Wow. From hero to zero.
So did things started opening up after he apologized? Because from there you moved to Radio Phoenix.
Things started opening up even before he apologized.
Oh, okay.
Because like I said, life was hard. I remember I met Erohiki at a shopping place. ShopRite it was. I met him at ShopRite. And he asked me, how are you doing? You know, a chance to see the president. So I told him, I said, sir, I'm jobless. I need a job. He says, well, we don't have an opening. I said, listen, sir, I don't mind doing a job without pay. And he gave me the job.
Huh.
And I did the job without pay. As a volunteer broadcaster on Radio Phoenix for some time before I was placed on the payroll. But even then, the late Erohiki still received a call from I don't know who to say, fire that guy.
What?
Otherwise, we're going to close off that station.
Yeah.
Whether that is true or not, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But he said, no, I'm not going to fire him because he's not an employee, he's a volunteer. And I made my money from there. I started making my money from there. And that's where Njikata was born. Because
Okay.
Friday, Njikata.
Get up and use my salary at Friday in Njikata, Saturday in Dekelako, or Sunday.
Sunday Mbwesha.
Njikata, Saturday in Dekelako, or Sunday, Kulondolo, and then I coupled up with the laughter. You know, and you know, people used to come in Njikata because it started like a joke because the name Njikata meant crowd puller.
Yeah.
Every show I played, it was packed like no man's business.
Kenga mwalisha, abantu baleko kushana until balala go queen.
Exactly.
Baleko kanyapa na pasate de pasande bamkulondera kuba kashawe.
Exactly.
Charlie ni
at the stroke of midnight, I had my favorite saying to say, "Imwe monse, ma gone out." Is a pity.
So, Chela, which one did you?
That's how Njikata was born. And it was after the Njikata thing that I said, okay, I've made enough money. Now it's time for me to go to school. Go back to school. Now I didn't have money to go back to school. My parents taught me, listen, we gave you enough money. So if you're doing a master's, you've already got a degree. So if you're doing a master's, you're on your own, mate. So I know how to use my skills. I wrote to 100 companies and individuals. And among the 100 companies and individuals, 2 responded.
Wow.
The late B.Y. Wheeler responded. And my inspiration, Great Kalu, Kalu Shawalia. I love that man. And he gave me the education I have, the latter part of my education that I have today. I love this man like no man's business.
I know, because you said it out to mentor.
Yeah, why he decided to help me, I don't know. Only he can answer that.
Oh wow, you guys look like brothers.
Yeah, actually,
smile.
Yeah, even just the whole, the head, the body, you look like you're related.
We're gonna bring him on our show one day, and then we'll ask him that question.
I think you
why
can come in,
did you choose Chela? Out of all the young men in Zambia, you chose Chela. He probably has a very good answer that you probably don't know.
But you know what? I mean,
he'll probably refuse because he's a reserved man. He doesn't like showing what he's done for somebody. The little I know about Bakalu is he doesn't actually like it. Even for me to say it, it had to take me all these years.
Yes.
But please, na papata, let me just,
Let me just tell
say thank you
people.
in my own way. Let me
But
just say thank you in my own
if
way.
you're
I mean,
Leland Chela, if
yeah,
you're Leland Chela,
every time I go to Zambia, I always make sure I take something for Wakalu.
I'm gonna say something, Chele, for Lelanda. I think what happens with people when it comes to help, when you help, when you give it from your heart. You don't expect to get it back. And
Yeah.
then everybody else, you lost so much, and they saw that you lost so much. Because at that time you got fired at 22. If you kept going on, it could have been different. But God had his own way. So
Mhm.
God always divests us into something different in order for you to be where you are. So
Yeah.
him coming in, of course, he sat down and realized this is a young man. This is my younger brother. How can I help? But what happens to us? We pull back. Look at you saying, Kalusha, but I will not come even talk about what he did to you. But we as human, we need to learn from them who have helped us because most of us we've been helped. I'm not here because I just did it myself. Somebody did pave the way. You paved the way to do all this. We are here talking about the Insaka Talk Show. So when we help, I want to be like Kalusha Walia. Help and forget about it. Let
Yeah.
them praise you by themselves. You don't have to say, oh, I did this. We don't own credit when we help because somebody helped me. I swear the person who helped me to be where I am, I don't think even anybody knows about it. Even when they say it, oh, stop it. You deserved it. That was your
Yeah.
turn. So
Yeah.
I'm so proud of Vakalu.
Yeah.
You see, there's a saying that when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Ladies, I lost my job. I lost my house. I lost my portions of land. I lost my savings. I lost my first marriage. All these 5 things, I didn't go.
My gosh.
Wow.
At that age.
So they
I think
say
the money won't feel, huh?
when it rains, it pours. When it rains, it
Hey,
pours.
BP. Kungo fiti that much even.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
I hope I've answered the question about the Njikata. I mean
The
the
Yes.
Prisca. Was it Prisca? Who was the question? Or
Yes, it was
My
Prisca.
question. I do have a. I know after the Friday in Jakarta, you also did shows sponsored by the United Nations. How?
yes, I did sponsored programs for the United Nations, International Labour Organization, World Health Organization. I did various programs, and that's how I was surviving.
Right.
Because at the time, like I said, I was not being paid on Radio Phoenix. So Mr. Hickey allowed me to use the platform to advertise my shows, to get
Mhm.
sponsors and to bring sponsored programs, and it was great. Great. And I owe it to him. Even before he passed on, I remember he called me, he told me, young man, I've got cancer. I cried, and may his soul rest in peace.
All right, Mr. Chilla Lover Boy. Tell us about Shalamana.
Chalamwana was the second person that I brought. Put it this way. When I started doing Njikata, I met my friend Suke Chile from Shentemba. So sometimes when I'm DJing at Shentemba, Suke would say, listen, I know these Congolese musicians. Let's put our hands together and bring musicians from Congo, DR, musicians from all over the world. So the first person that we brought was Chalamwana. And Chalamwana was great because Suke and I were the first Zambians to bring Chalamwana. In fact, the first person we brought was Kofi Olomide. Um,
The jacket.
we brought Kofi, brought Kofi Olomide. I think you guys have got the picture for
Yes,
Kofi.
I do. Just
See? Maybe you can show the the viewers
yeah.
for Kofi and I at the time were
Mhm.
bit of French here and there. Um, then we brought um, Rebecca Malope, and when I saw Rebecca, I said, "Wow, that's Papa Wemba." Papa Wemba, I brought Papa Wemba as well with Suke, and we shared the money between is to Perandai. Who's the next one?
No, Chela. I asked you about Shalamana because there was a rumor
Yeah.
that you and Shalamana were an item. That's why I don't want to hear all that other stuff.
No.
I want to know the
One second.
relationship
It's just,
that you
I don't
had
know
with
what's happening.
Shalamana.
Technical difficulties. I have all the pictures light on, but it's just they're not coming in. But I'll put them up.
Okay.
True or false?
It's false because at the time Chalamana was dating a renowned politician
Yeah.
in Zambia. A
Wait, let
Zambian
me see that chair.
who, I cannot name here. He's said it several times on the radio, and he's said it publicly,
Yeah.
that he's dated Chalamwana. So I was more like,
There she is.
yeah. So she was very free with me.
Very pretty.
She was
She was beautiful, beautiful young lady
yeah.
at the time. Beautiful.
She has a good body. Man, killer body.
So it's not true that that's Brenda Fassi. That's another lady that we brought from South Africa, the late Brenda Fassi. Great
Love
musician,
to drink.
Yeah, and it was nice. This was at Mulungushi International Conference Center, now called Kenneth Kaunda Conference Center, and that's Awilo Longomba and Dali Kimoko.
Yeah.
We brought Awilo and Dali Kimoko. After bringing them, I took them to Radio Phoenix. This was after the interview that we did at Radio Phoenix. And then, Papa Wemba, Kofi Olomide, Brenda Fassi. And when I saw Rebecca Malope, I said, wow, you're so tiny. He says, prove it to me. Then I lifted her up,
She's that little?
Yeah, I sent you guys a picture.
Yeah.
Where I lifted
So what
up.
we did, right? We have a part 1 and part 2. And then we actually going over part 1, which is we can have another 5 minutes. So that because your story, like Priska said, it's a whole lot. We can just finish you in one day. And especially for us young people, we want to learn from you. And then having you for an hour, it's just not enough. We've gone in for like almost 12 minutes now, an hour, 12 minutes. We're going to do maybe an hour, 15 minutes or so. And then next week, we're going to continue to part 2. So that's why I did not put up a lot of information, because I have a lot to ask you. Myself, Nelly, she's like waiting because she was supposed to be here and just like, we want to ask about Chela, fiance.
Nelly,
And then we want to learn it from you, because if I wish to, I feel like our broadcasting is just being take a phone and go Facebook Live and being broadcasting. We want to learn from you and how you do it.
Before we leave part 1, we were talking about all the musicians and the celebrities that you brought in. Which one of those, because you were the first one to fill up the Mulungushi Conference Center, which one of those artists that filled up that the conference center?
I didn't fill up the Mulungushi Conference Center bringing the artists, no.
Okay, so it was just
the Mulungushi Conference Center upstairs and downstairs doing Friday in Jakarta.
Lila. My
sister. Upstairs and downstairs.
Oh, wow.
Mine is that I love to give I believe people should get their flowers when they're still there. So I as an entertainer, as an entrepreneur, as a broadcasting guy, thank you for paving the way for us.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for being, we're a Christian nation. And with that means we are pro church sana Catholic sana. And you know the old Zambia. You grew up in the old Zambia, you know it.
Yeah.
And the fact that you were able to bring what we are today stems from watching
people like
that decided to become musicians because they went to a concert and saw Awilo Longomba performing, and they said, I am going to become I'm going to become an artist. And for other people, the very bare thought of seeing someone they used to see on TV like this changed their lives.
Sure.
So thank you very much for being that guy
You're
that
welcome.
wanted the best for our country. Thank you very much for being that guy that wanted to make kutufumia kwaka kumunshikana na foto aishwa.
Hey, landela kabili. Weka
Hey,
shot.
kama nzuri kaja.
But you see, in bringing all these people, there was Oliver Mtukudzi that I brought. Before bringing Oliver Mtukudzi to Zambia, I started playing Oliver Mtukudzi's music from the scratch. And I did my research and started researching Shona. Then I was interpreting the Shona music to the Zambian people, saying, "Ngefi Chela abachela nabona abapwa. Ngefi bala di shanom." As time went on, you know, people started loving the music. And Oliver heard from Debbie Metcalf, who was his manager then, to say, "There's a young man who likes playing your music." So Oliver sent for me to fly to Zimbabwe. And I flew to Zimbabwe. And when I flew to Zimbabwe, we met. There he is. We met. Now, this neck chain you see, this is the neck chain Oliver is wearing.
Oh my goodness. No way. You know what? You know what?
You feel the same thing, right?
Chela,
He said to me,
what's your thought? Every time I've seen you, I don't care what outfit you're wearing, you're always wearing that chain. And I'm always telling myself, I'm gonna tell Chela that neck chain doesn't match what you're wearing. But now it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you look at all Chela's pictures, I don't care what he's wearing, he has that chain. And it was a misfit for me.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't know why. This is amazing. Thank you for sharing.
I met a friend out of my job. I met a brother, and when I reached Zimbabwe, Oliver Mtukudzi and his wife, gave me their main bedroom to sleep in there.
Wow.
The following day, Oliver bought a Mercedes Benz. So I went flying, and I went back to Zambia driving my first Mercedes Benz car.
You never know. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Look at that. When God takes it away and He paves the way, He opens it all.
And again, see, that's why I'm saying thank you.
I was back from the Discovery to the Beetle, now back to the Mercedes Benz.
Oh my God!
Standing out. It's because of what you have been doing. You've been. Thank you for being.
I'm speechless.
Thank you for being beaten. Thank you for failing. Thank you for being fired. Thank you because because from all of this. You have no idea because you have no idea just how much of Zambia I come from. The Zambia I know and the Zambia you know are different. I come from a very safe space, a space that I'm okay with being. I can be as crazy as I want to be crazy because there were crazy people before me, and the one that opened the door for those crazy people is you. So, thank you.
I am just so humbled myself, just like. It's Johnny, and then it's Johnny, and then him just talking about a friend that he met. You see, I say to myself, and I say to the girls of the Instacar, my sisters now, we are sisterhood. It's like sometimes you don't know what you lose, but when you get the great people around you, they'll push you. Me, Priska, Irene, Nelly. We are not easy people. We were not easy people, but we are like we can go crazy over each other. Now you are winning. But one thing I get out of it, when you have the friend in somebody, you know you're going to go with. They say, so Oliver saw a friend in you and look at you now, you're wearing him. Yeah. Guys, let's look into this. You two,
Oliver and JK did a song, a very beautiful song. I feel like of all the artists that JK worked with then, Oliver Mtukudzi was the one that understood his voice and gave him that.
Yeah, I introduced JK to Oliver. I introduced Maureen Lilanda to Oliver.
Oh.
Yeah.
You see, we don't even know this. And this young generation don't know.
Chela, the beauty about your industry that you created in Zambia is that you've left a legacy to everybody, a DJ, a broadcaster, a dancer, an artist, anybody that has a face on the screen, you paved the way. You're the legendary behind it. And the fact that Zambia doesn't have recreation
He did
Our
it.
recreation is
He
music,
did it.
Yeah.
mufidimba fidimba, in
That
the
was the first,
club.
yeah.
That's you, Chela?
That was the first time I ever went on the radio. That picture.
What?
The very first time when I went on the radio.
How old were you here?
I was 18,
18.
I think. Because in teaching, I only stayed for a year thereabout.
You were right.
In 18.
And guys, they are very beautiful questions. There's one question that I saw in here, but I think
I
we
can.
should
You
read
want to do the
it.
questions before
Yeah,
we?
before we leave, because there's one outstanding one that I saw. It was addressed to Chela.
Yeah, go on.
By
No,
Sandra.
it's not a person. I think it was by
Sandra Musoma.
yes, Sandra Musoma. Sandra said, "Can you open up a Facebook or YouTube page where you can DJ again and take us back to the good old days? I'm enjoying your story." I think they're talking about the Friday in Jakarta, Saturday in Dekelako, Sunday Kalondolola. I think that's what they're talking about. Can you do that? You don't have to say it now, but think about it. Sandra wants you to do that.
Sandra,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't do Facebook. I don't do YouTube.
This is a broadcaster. OG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a radio person.
Yes. OG.
I'm not a TV person. TV is for Maureen in Kandu, Chavala Chimpampa, and Mukabe. I'm not a TV person. And look, if I start doing that, what about the young generation?
Right,
The young
please.
generation will be saying, "Bachela wala to your number." Look, I mean, I would rather go on DJ where Sandra brings a young DJ like Kalumba or whichever younger DJ is playing, to say there's an upcoming DJ and there's a veteran DJ or there's an old school DJ.
Mhm.
So that you balance the two, if that makes sense. Does it make sense?
Yes,
Yes, it does.
I'm sorry, Sandra. I'm really,
Yeah.
I really hate disappointing my fans, but I don't do, and I guess that's what has made me survive, because I
We
don't do
looked for
Facebook.
you. We
Yeah.
couldn't find you. We
I don't
looked.
do
Me and
Facebook.
Priska, we like, let's Google Bachel.
I don't do YouTube.
Um,
LinkedIn, yes, you will find me on LinkedIn, but not Facebook. No, I don't. It's not for me. If you're Toshanyana Bantu,
Thank you, Bachel. No, thank you. Like Mainga said it already. Thank you for that.
it's
At
just not
certain
for
age, you gotta
me.
give up.
It's not me.
I have a follow-up question on DJing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for the new and upcoming DJs now that are so different from what you used to do? We have a DJ here in DJ Yeka.
Yeah.
We have a DJ here who we think like, oh my God, he's amazing. So he's amazing at everything that he does. What advice would you have for these new DJs and compared to you?
Be yourself.
Wow.
Be yourself. Be original. I met Yeka Yeka in New York.
Yeah, yeka.
We DJed together at Independence celebration, and we met. And the advice is just be yourself. Do not let them get to your head, because the same way it has gotten to your head, it will destroy you.
Mhm.
During our time, we never had social media.
Yeah.
Today, social media. And the fastest way for any person to be destroyed is social media.
Yeah, absolutely. It can build you.
We're able to manage to get away with
Building
something here and there.
destroying. Destroying is so instant.
Just be yourself. If you want to make it in your life, you want to even not even have a road named after you, but a building
Yeah.
named after you. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Be humble. And when you rise up, always remember to look down on the ladder that you've used.
Yeah.
because people can easily remove that ladder. And when they remove the ladder,
Yeah.
you fall.
Yeah.
You fall, nobody will catch you.
No.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, I think on that note, we're going to leave it on that note and we're coming on part 2. Guys, stay tuned for next week. We have part 2.
I'm sad.
Oh,
And
I'm sad. Allow me to be
okay,
sad.
we can
Allow
go.
me to be sad because now, one, I'm saying bye to the legend himself. Also, I probably won't be here next week. Why?
I know. Okay, Irene, you can finish up. Maybe, okay, you have one more. I can give you one more question.
One more question since you won't be here.
Yes, one more
Since you won't
question.
be here next time. Yeah.
Where I mean, I know you've done it already, but at the end of it all, what's next from you? Because it doesn't end. For great people, it never ends. So
Yeah.
what's next?
what's next for me is to love my wife.
Oh.
But
That
Chela,
is so sweet.
you give me too many goosebumps today.
That's beautiful.
It is.
That's beautiful. It's the
So
best answer ever.
Remember, I told you guys, I said I've lost 5 things. The 5 things I've lost. I lost a job, I lost a house, I lost a plot, I lost money, and I lost a wife, the first wife. And now I've gained tenfold. And I don't want to lose. And I don't want to lose what I have.
That's
unless God says so.
Right.
So what's left of God is love my wife.
Yes.
And love my kids. And why my wife? Because she was my best friend. We grew up together. Wow. She used to listen to me. She was only 7. How old were you, honey?
You didn't tell me. You didn't send me a picture of your wife.
Could we meet wife?
She's wife.
Yeah, she was
Can wife come in?
Oh, she's
not ready, maybe, because we want to put makeup. So
she's very shy. And the one thing, if you want to destroy yourself, expose your wife to social media.
Yes.
Don't.
Go tell it on the mountain, please.
As you are doing it, there should be people
my God.
surrounding villages can hear it. Don't bring your spouse. Yes.
Yes, but 2 months relationship. And you know, not even posting. Na status you change that in a relationship. Like when?
That's not in a relationship.
So for me, I think that's what is left of me. I mean, there've been times when people pick up the phone and call my wife and say, "Hello, is this Mrs. Katwishi?" Yes, it is. "Oh, I've just seen your husband with a girl," and she says, "Oh, really? Yeah, I saw him last week. He was with a girl." "Okay, hold on. What's your name, darling?" "Oh, my name is Lizzie." And then she puts on speakerphone. Then she calls me and she says, and then she puts it on speakerphone and says, "Lizzie, I've got Chela here. Can you repeat what you said?"
I love your wife. Boom.
Yeah, that's how you catch a thief.
Yeah.
Wow.
You always talk. So to answer your question, what's left for me is love my wife and love my kids, because God has given me my wife. God has given me my kids, and I'm grateful that at this, my mom is still alive.
Oh wow, great.
My dad is still alive. And, a lot of friends my age have lost their moms.
You are blessed.
Yes, you are.
I'm telling you.
It's a Jacob. I told you already. I can figure why he was giving me goosebumps. The Jacob lost it all, and
then he got it all back in tenfold.
Yeah.
So, all the best in whatever it is that you're doing, and we're here for it. I mean, we're
here to learn. Now we're here to learn.
We're here for it all. We're here for all the experience. We're here for all the downfalls. Because clearly, when you fall down, there's more that is coming. I mean, Now I'm going to be walking with my head stuck out, looking for someone to fire me or
But
drop.
that's the thing. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. What I learned from today's, because now I'm becoming a student. But Chela, I'm not a good student, but I'm learning. I told the girls this season on the Instagram, I'm learning. As a student right now, speaking to you, what I'm learning is like when you fall down, you never give up. The last choice you made was a third choice. You
Yeah.
told yourself, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna find it. And you went and find it. So this is for all of us. Please never give up because there's hope somewhere. There's gonna be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you. And for
Never,
me,
ever give up, and always go back to school. They can take away your job.
but they cannot take away.
Never take away your education.
All right. For me, Chela, I really love the part where you said you don't want to compare your first marriage to the second marriage because these are two different individuals. You love them differently, and now that you were graced with the wife that you have right now, that completes you, that makes you feel the way you feel, that you can proudly say to anybody that's listening that I am so happy and so proud of myself and lucky to have a wife that I can call my best friend. Most men should look at that and listen to that because there's a lot of comparisons. Hey, you don't. That's why my wife used to do this. It doesn't work like that in a relationship. So I'm glad you pinned on that because that's away from who you are in terms of your career and your accolades that you've gotten in life. You talked about a personal thing that is going to sit in somebody, a young couple out there that's listening, that, oh, like Chela said this, and it has worked for him. And he's praising his wife, and the wife is sitting right there and
I know
listening.
we didn't even know
Yeah,
she was sitting
that
right
is
there. So
beautiful. That
beautiful.
is beautiful because you're not saying things just out of the blue. You're saying it so that she can actually hear you and say, you know what, my husband truly loves me.
And he's
That's
Yeah.
powerful.
And he's sitting here talking about me, and I'm sitting here. Thank you for doing that.
No, you're welcome. And the thing with my wife is, she says to me, "You're CJ or you're DJ CJ Uko."
But man, stop dancing.
Yeah, you're Chela.
I know, right?
Not
Oh, what's that episode?
yeah. The minute you enter the door, you're not
You should take off
Yeah,
that
Chela,
shirt.
Katwishi.
so
So
so I when I make a mistake, she asks me, and so we laugh about it. And I'm sorry, take her for a movie, and please don't do it again. I mean, we've been together for 20 years now, and
God out loud. Amazing. Congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations.
She's a lovely young lady, and I'm grateful for God, But the most important thing is, look, she brought all these kids together,
Yeah.
Amazing.
and she picked up the phone. She's friends,
With everybody.
everybody's
Mother.
biological mother.
Amazing. Because she knew how important it was for you.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing we can do is to
Yeah.
just be. I
And
love
that's
you, kids.
another thing.
I mean, what else can you ask for? Where can you imagine my wife's talking to Vanakatongo on the other end of
There you go.
and they're laughing and
And then you were actually even scared, like, wait a minute, is this happening right now?
yeah, like, is it happening on my watch or?
And
Is it
that
not
in
there?
itself, I feel like
Yeah.
that's another thing I feel that we could also get into and speak
Yeah.
about, because I feel, you see, there's the ones that get affected are the kids. The
Yes.
Yes.
and finding it within you for the person you love, making sure that, because I mean, most of us are products of broken homes where your parents, it didn't work.
Yes.
It's not your fault. It's not their fault also that it didn't work. It just didn't work,
Mhm.
And upezeka, it's hard for connection, that thing. And when you, if That's very admirable, and that's a
Yes.
great stretch. Your wife.
Well, they say if you don't support and bring up your children, society will.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to, not to break up this lovely party. We are having a part two. We've gone over our time, guys.
Yes.
We're having a part two. Chela is coming back. We'll ask all the questions, but I would like to end the show with this. For me, the takeaway from this is love, forgiveness, and thank you for paving your way. What you're doing right now, we cannot say thank you enough. This is a reason why we started this show. We wanted to bridge a gap between diaspora and here in the United States. And for people like you to encourage a young Chela out there, even you being fired is something that we have learned. When
Yeah.
one door closes, it's going to rain, it's going to pour. But when another door opens, that's the relationship, the friendship, the Radio Phoenix, and everybody that believed in you after that. And you still here for us to still speak with you, and you teaching us along the way and helping us to go up there. So with that being said, I would like to say thank you very much. Part two will be amazing when we unpack with Chela Katwishi, guys. I'm sorry you're not going to be here.
Open, right? So she's like,
No, maybe he'll be there. Maybe he'll be on my side with me.
hey,
Well, maybe you come to Illinois.
no, you know this.
All right. End the show.
I appreciate. Thank you very, very much. And I'm really humbled, especially for Irene, having taken the trouble. We speak every week, but for her to, extend the invitation that the ladies would like an interview. I'm humbled and I'm grateful, and you will go a long way, because I can see the chemistry among yourselves. It's there.
Yay!
It's there, and
I have a chemistry.
keep it up. To be
I have
honest,
a chemistry with you. I just want to tell you.
Stop, Winnie.
Win.
Go ahead, Chela.
just keep it up, and the way you relating. I mean, you're in different states, in Chicago, in Baltimore, in New Jersey, but just the way you're relating, it's like you're in one studio.
Yeah.
And you're all, taking one leaf from the other. And to the viewers out there, please, I'm begging you, please, please, please support the Insaka program, support these ladies, because I think they're doing a great job bringing you entertainment. Alavanetula Bombesha, we left Zambia, our country, to come toil and suffer in these foreign countries, but they bring a smile on your face. Support them, please.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much. Thank you so much, Chela. You guys, I'm very grateful that he said all those words. It's funny. I'll just say one funny thing. The first time I called him to say the Insaka ladies want you to come on the show, he said, so how long is your show? I said, it's an hour long. He's like, no. Chela doesn't do 1 hour. So I was like, first I was confused. I thought maybe it was too much. 1 hour was too much. I said, Chela, he said, no, I have a lot of things to talk about. You cannot do 1 hour for me. Go back to your ladies and tell them that there's going to be a part one and part two. And I didn't know how the girls were going to think, because I know Chela on a personal level, and I knew he could do it. I was creepy crawling to go and tell them. And when I did, they just said, oh, yeah, sure. Part one and part two should do. I was like, hallelujah.
And then we're on 1 hour, 40 minutes.
Then we're still talking part two. So,
Can you imagine?
Part one, we're not
introduction of
We're
part
not
one.
even finished.
So you guys stay tuned. I tell you.
Would you like to ask me about the jacket?
I'm into fashion, and I've been seeing the bling on that jacket. Like, your jacket, yo. Jacket. Your jacket, yo. What is the story behind that jacket, sir?
The story behind this is Oliver Mtukuzi is the one who gave me this jacket.
Yay!
Tuku music. That's
Tuku.
beautiful. It's been
Very nice.
It's been in my eye. It's been burning my eye since.
Assistance.
Before.
There are two actually. There's this one and there's the other one. I think I wore it when the last interview I had. I can't remember who was interviewing me. So when I was wearing this one, my wife says, "No, but this is going to look like the other one. I said, no, but it's different, and it's a different audience. She says, no, but listen to me. I said, honey, listen, we don't have time. I just need to go now and prepare, because if I go panicking, I'll lose my thought, and yeah,
No, this has
I'm
been
grateful.
amazing.
It's been good. It's been real. It's been good. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
It's been amazing, guys. And Chela, see you next week for the second. So I'm gonna go the legend. But Chela paved the way for us. Nanda na Muchibemba. He did it for us. These are the people we should look up to. We should learn into it. We'll put up his bio.
Yeah.
I'll put up his bio so we can see what he went through. And then without anything else, he's not hiding. Of course, he went through trials and he's living his truth. We all can learn from it. You can be left with nothing. So, guys, stay tuned for second part, because I'm not the one to finish it off. Chela Katwishi has his own story. So till next week, guys, we'll see you on the Insaka Talk Show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.